I have another tank stored up here. The lads must be drawing away over there at the minute. Jeez, the horsefly's reading me. Horses slurry out. Tell you, Mastech know how to make a tanker just when you're behind it here. That's full, but it's so level. It's not hopping at all. So both where they have the axle on it and the way the drawbar is sprung, it hardly bounces on the road. And if you're in the tractor, there's none of this seesaw slapping that you get along the drawbar of the tractor. Really smooth, really easy towed tanker, lovely yoke. So you can see there, the two lads are horsing slurry out. All that footage was captured by Sid now, so I have a team of lads working for me now with these videos. Yeah, so they're putting out the slurry there. It's going out as close as they can to 2,500 gallons to the acre onto the silage ground, and you'll just notice there the speed that he's travelling at. It's fierce fast. And that is definitely an issue with these dribble bars or trading shoes. I think we have to do roughly around 12k, 11.5 or 12k to get the level of 2,500 gallons to the acre out. If we travel slower, you end up putting out way too much slurry altogether. That's because there's way more slurry fitting out through all of those pipes. They put restrictors into the inside, which is like a little rubber cone that you get on the end of a splash plate. They put them restrictors in just above the lollipop, and that one came with that so that you can travel a little bit slower. So the ultimate reason is, the main problem with driving fast is, one, obviously in rough ground you just can't drive fast, and breaking up the tractor and breaking up the tanker, or if you're in little small cow paddocks, drive that fast. But two, you can't really run the tanker pump above 1,500 tractor revs. In order to do about 12k with a 2,500 gallon tanker on you at 1,500 revs, you want some proper power in front of the tanker. Also because the hydraulic pump is running on the tractor all the time, running the macerator in the back. So you're trying to drive at 12k, pull about 13 ton, and keep the revs at 1,500 revs while running the tractor's hydraulics. Like 100 horsepower, 120 horsepower tractor that used to be able to run these 2,500 gallons of a tanker with a splash plate, just not able for the same size tanker with a dribble bar or a tread and shoe on it. Fine if it's level ground, level farm, and especially if it's dry is another help. I see us in the spring here, when, you know, if you go in on ground when it's just borderline wet, if you were to press in the clutch, the tractor would stop on its own in the field without touching the brakes. Sticky, we'll call it. It's nearly impossible to get the speed up and nearly impossible to take off in the fields. So just, I see it as a massive problem with the dribble bar on the tankers. You need to have a bigger tractor now in front of the tanker, so it's another lock on. As if the cost of buying the tanker and the dribble bar wasn't enough, now people have had to go and upgrade their tractor in front of it as well, which, look, if you really want to get into it, is burning more diesel and blah blah blah, all the rest. All this emission stuff is made up anyway. So but just that's to explain the speed that they're going at. It's just a huge issue with these dribble bars. To get out to low level of slurry, they have to drive that speed. Also, wouldn't you just listen to that A220 all day long? I know I'm biased, but what a tractor. So let's take a look at this tanker here. What is it? When did we buy it? How big is it? What extras are on? What's not on it? All the rest. So we bought this tanker in 2000. I think it's stamped 2020, but we bought it in 2020, and it's a Mastech tanker. So anyone, majority of the country have Mastech dribble bars, but a lot of you might know that Mastech make tankers as well. It was an unusual tanker at the time because they weren't actually making them, but we actually saw they gave Farmer Phil a demo tanker, and we watched the video. We had looked at a couple of different tankers, and you know, your standard makes Abbey and Major and all the rest. And Paul here has an engineering background, and look, the others are fine tankers, but he just wasn't happy with some of the way that the tankers were built. Stuff he felt was a little bit light in it. The stuff just wasn't in him, basically, pretty much. But we liked the look of this on Farmer Phil's video, and I think Paul messaged Phil and asked him what he thought of it, and he said he was very impressed with the tanker. So the next thing we did then was we headed up to Coot Hill in County Cavan, where the Mastech factory is, and we went up to get a look at him. Now, like I said, they hadn't started making them at the time. Phil's one was a prototype, and I think they had 2 prototypes in the yard. And they had 3 or 4 production tankers built and out to customers. But other than that, that was it. There was another company rolling out the barrels for them, and they were putting the tankers together in their own yard, and then they were sending them to a company then to get them painted. But when we went up, they were planning on extending the factory, and they had their own equipment bought for rolling out the barrels of the tankers themselves, so they were pretty much ready to go at it. So we purchased the tanker off of them, and we got a grant on it, 60% grant. I got a young farmer grant on the tanker and dribble bar combination, and they kind of pretty much stopped making the tankers after that, and didn't really put any on sale, none to make dealers or anything. But I see now within the last 6 months, or maybe since Christmas now, I've seen they've started back on to, they actually sent a tanker to Agritechnica, and I'm sure they'll have tankers into ploughing, and they definitely have started selling them now again. But they're a seriously well made and well finished tanker, and we'll just show you some of the features on it here now. It badly needs a wash, but you'll forgive me for that. So drawbar wise, very well made. The welds, Paul was very impressed with the welds on the tanker, the quality of the welds all over. Anyone who has a Mastech dribble bar will know how well made they are and how well finished they are. And the tanker is exactly the same. So the drawbar is plated then. See the plate? And the plate that holds on the vacuum pump is tied in there as well. Just give you an idea of the welds that's on it. And that plate runs the whole way back to here, into this bracket, which holds on the spring. It's a spring loaded drawbar. You'll have seen the video earlier how level the tanker runs, and that makes it, that's a really good system for drawbar, I suppose, just like a trailer, but Major have those elephant foot rubber things, and they give trouble. And so just how much steel there is in the drawbar, and how well plated it is. And then they have a playhead here and here. You can see the thickness of the stuff in it, and again how good the welds are on it. And then it has a full box chassis under it, which tankers like the Red Rock one and stuff don't have. That has kind of a free floating tank with a drawbar sort of just sitting underneath it. We go back to the hinge point here. For the spring-loaded drawbar, again, really strongly made, plated, welded fully all around, top and bottom. Sorry, that plate on the side of the drawbar actually comes the whole way back to here. Up underneath, the welds and the tankers is well finished on the barrel and underneath as it is outside. Which is another thing that impressed Paul when he got under it and looked. Again, well plated here, up into the chassis. Hydraulic brakes then under it. Speed axle, hydraulic brakes, drums, not discs. It's not on air or anything. The paint finish, you'll have seen from the John Deere there, Paul has a background in that as well. And the paint finish on this now blew the other manufacturers out of the water completely. Unbelievable. You won't see it now because it's not washed, but you can probably see it if I just rub this here a bit. It's shining. This tanker now is 4 years old and hasn't been washed for, I don't know, a couple of months anyway. Look at it. And any of you will know that slurry dust is awful stuff. A couple of rubs there and it's just shiny. Look at it. And really thick. So around bolt holes and stuff, Abby now are a disaster for that. Around bolt holes and stuff, all the paint just chips and falls off. Anywhere there's bolts here, any of the moving parts, no paint chipped on them anywhere. And there was as much paint underneath the tanker as there was on the outside of it. So extras wise then there's not a whole lot other than I didn't really have a spec sheet for you to buy off of because it was one of the first of them. So came standard with these. I know there are extras on other tankers, the removable mud guards. It has the biggest pump that you could get on it, side class as standard. Doesn't have a hydraulic changeover because there's too much of a demand then for hydraulic spool valves when you have to run the macerator. We have tractors that can run it, but it was just an extra thing on it. There's no lazy arm because we're not afraid of getting up and down out of the tractor. It was also very expensive, probably the real reason. I think we have 3 fill points on it. And then we spec'd an extra light package on it, so it has side marker lights. These tyres were extra. They're MRLs, 800s I think they're. Yeah, 800 6532s. And they're MRLs. It came standard with BKTs, but we were advised by our tyre supplier that the MRLs were a much better tyre, longer lasting. It came with mud flaps. And then, like I said, the extra lighting package, so LEDs up there and full LED brake and indicator lights all around. And then the dribble bar in the back then was just your standard Mastech dribble bar that goes onto all the rest of the tankers. So we love it. I think it's a tanker for a lifetime. There won't be any stupid stuff with it. It's not going to crack or break anywhere. The paint is going to be really good on it. That's why we didn't go for a galvanised one, because the paint was more than good enough on it. So yeah, no, we're very happy with it now so far. If any of you actually on here have one of these, or have one in your local area, just write into the comments below. Oh, wide angle PTO is the other thing it came with. Essential for a dribble bar again, to keep the wide angle PTO, because there's way too much going on in the cab if you're turning on and off PTO switches as well and everything else.